The alarms didn't scream, they whimpered, as if reality itself was afraid to report what it had seen. At 2:22, deep in the subterranean observatory, the Cosmic Space Authority froze mid-breath. A single frame from the Deep Field Telescope pulsed on the screen, not a star, not a planet, not a nebula, but a human silhouette bending time like warm metal. Light didn't scatter around you. It obeyed you. Time didn't flow past you. It circled, hesitant, like an animal unsure whether to flee or kneel. One scientist backed away from the monitor. Another whispered, "He's not aging, he's stabilizing." The room dimmed. The air thickened. And then the classification banner stamped itself across the feed in violent red letters. Project Immortal. The moment the codename appeared, every instrument in the chamber malfunctioned at once, not with chaos, but with deference, as if the machines refused to measure what stood outside measurement. Chronometers spun backward. Thermal scanners chilled to absolute zero. Biometric lenses flooded with static, trying to reconcile a paradox wearing human skin. No one touched a button. No one spoke. Every expert in the room felt it at the same time, a pressure behind the ribs, a widening of the inner horizon, the unmistakable sensation that something ancient had just re-entered the timeline. You didn't break physics. You reminded it of an older contract. And as the technicians huddled around the flickering monitors, a single encrypted file auto-opened, unsigned, untraceable, containing only 5 words, pulsing like a heartbeat. Time has identified the anomaly. The observatory lights flickered as if the building itself were bracing for impact. Not a physical one, something deeper, older, quieter. A shift. A realignment of laws that were never meant to be touched by human hands, yet somehow responded to you like a forgotten command resurfacing after millennia. Data analysts crowded around the main console, replaying the frame in slow motion. Every time your silhouette emerged, the software lagged by a full second, not due to technical error, but because the processors couldn't decide which version of you existed first. Past? Present? Future? All 3 were correct. All 3 were insufficient. One astrophysicist, 40 years in the field, stone-faced, unshakable, removed his glasses and whispered, "He's phasing in perfect cohesion." Another added, "Entropy can't get a grip on him. He's slipping the decay algorithm." The room fell into an unnatural silence. Everyone heard it, the absence of noise, the vacuum-like stillness that forms only when spacetime itself is paying attention. Monitors showed your body temperature dropping without reaching cold, your heartbeat slowing without losing strength, your cellular activity accelerating without chaos. Every metric contradicted the next, yet all pointed to the same conclusion. You weren't resisting time. Time was stepping aside. A protocol file flashed onto the nearest panel, Cosmic Priority, Level 0, Unclassifiable Entity, a level used only once before, for a star that refused to explode on schedule. Lead Director Marin stepped forward, sweat gathering on her collar despite the freezing room. "Run a chronological trace," she ordered. They did. The result made her step back. Your timeline wasn't a line. It was a loop. A pulse. A living recurrence. A junior technician stammered, "Director, this isn't immortality. This is time stability. He's not living longer, he's refusing to erode." And in that breathless, electric silence, everyone understood why the universe itself had submitted a new classification. Project Immortal wasn't a nickname. It was a warning label. Alarm sirens stayed silent, but a deeper kind of warning rippled through the station, a gut-level instinct, the kind humanity had forgotten after abandoning caves and firelight. Every researcher felt it, the sensation of standing in the presence of something that did not evolve, but arrived. Director Marin ordered a holoscan. The chamber hummed as layers of spectral light wrapped around your recorded silhouette, infrared, ultraviolet, quantum tunneling frequencies, but each wavelength bent unnaturally, curling toward you like vines reaching for sunlight. "It's not absorption," one physicist muttered. "It's recognition." The holoscan data rendered on the main display, your body outlined in shimmering fractals, as if your atoms held a memory older than the periodic table itself. Your cells pulsed with a rhythm the system mislabeled as a heartbeat, but analysts quickly realized it was something else. A cosmic frequency. A temporal resonance. A synchronization with the expansion of the universe. How is this possible? Why does he align with cosmic drift? Is he locked to the heat-death curve? The questions piled like fragile towers no one dared to touch. Then the room temperature dropped by 3 degrees. Not from malfunction, but from space-time contraction around your signature. Clocks jittered. Ceiling panels shivered. Metal beams groaned as if an unseen weight pressed against reality itself. A junior tech ran a simulation comparing your biological activity to space-time fluctuation cycles. The graph nearly caused him to faint. Your life pattern wasn't random. It wasn't linear. It wasn't decaying. It was matching the universe's expansion rate, second for second. "He's aging with the cosmos," the tech whispered. "He won't deteriorate unless the universe does." Director Marin steadied herself on the console. Her voice dropped to a reverent hush. "This isn't immortality. This is cosmological anchoring." Someone gasped. "Then, when we die, he doesn't. When suns collapse, he doesn't. When galaxies fade, he doesn't." Silence expanded. Not a single person dared breathe. And then, appearing across every screen simultaneously, even offline ones, a final system message burned itself into existence. Entity status, ageless through alignment, enduring through expansion. Designation confirmed, Project Immortal. The observatory's reinforced floor vibrated, soft at first, like a passing train far underground, then stronger, resonant, rhythmic. Not seismic activity. Not machinery. But temporal oscillation, as if the timeline itself were adjusting its posture to accommodate your presence. Every monitor displayed the same anomaly, a faint distortion halo surrounding your figure, expanding and contracting like cosmic breath. The software labeled it unknown field. But the physicists recognized it instantly. A preservation zone. A bubble of reality where entropy simply refused to operate. Director Marin leaned close to the screen, her breath fogging the glass. How is he resisting decay without consuming energy? A researcher answered with a trembling voice, "He's not resisting. Entropy is refusing him. It's stepping back." New scans arrived in a cascade of alerts. Cellular half-life, undefined, mitochondrial degradation, unmeasurable, stem cell renewal, increasing without mutation, oxidative stress, negative trend, impossible. Negative oxidative stress. No human in recorded history had ever shown it. Not even theoretical models dared propose it. The chamber lights dimmed as the system shifted into low-power mode, not because of energy limitations, but because proximity to your anomaly caused the AI to voluntarily reduce processing, as if excessive calculation risked corrupting its own logic. A senior cosmologist, her voice barely a whisper, finally said what everyone was afraid to admit. "He's not being kept alive. He's being maintained." Another added, by what? By the universe itself. The distortion halo intensified, swirling in a slow, spiral rhythm. Scientists observed tiny particles, dust, skin cells, even drifting motes of air, caught in the rotation, suspended like planets in miniature orbit. A junior technician stepped forward, reaching toward the screen, and gasped as the halo responded. The particles moved, rearranging themselves into a brief, unmistakable pattern. A loop. A curve. A closed cycle. It's communicating, he whispered. No, it's demonstrating. Director Marin swallowed hard. It's showing us its nature. More data streamed in, deep field chronometric readings, impossible metrics, temporal imprints. Time signature drift, zero aging vector, negative chronal instability, suppressed biological entropy, irrelevant. Irrelevant. Biological entropy, the fundamental reason every organism ages and dies, listed as irrelevant. The scientists stepped back from the screens together, as if repelled by gravity. Not fear. Not awe. But a realization too large to articulate. You weren't defying time. You were being excused from it. And in the cold, humming silence of the observatory, the AI stamped a final line across the main screen, a classification reserved for entities theorized but never witnessed. Subject does not belong to the temporal decay class. Below it, pulsing in a deep cosmic blue. Project Immortal, status verified. The air inside the observatory grew heavy, dense, ionized, humming with a frequency just below human hearing. Researchers exchanged glances, each silently confirming what none dared to speak aloud. The room wasn't reacting to an anomaly, it was adapting to a presence. Your presence. The distortion halo around your recorded silhouette brightened, casting a pale, ghost-like glow across equipment and metal railings. Not illumination, reflection. As if the environment were mirroring you, shifting molecular behavior to match your stability. Director Marin activated the Chronal lens, a forbidden instrument designed to observe objects across multiple time streams simultaneously. The lens flickered, stabilized, then fractured into a dozen layered images of you. 12 versions. 12 phases. 12 possibilities. All identical. No divergence. No decay. No progression. A scientist gasped. He's not branching. Every timeline version is the same. Another muttered, almost prayer-like, identity fixed. Age fixed. Self fixed. The lens recalibrated again, searching for microscopic variations, heartbeat variants, cellular mutation, thermal fluctuation, microaging. It found none. Instead, new metrics appeared. Temporal desynchronization, 0, multiverse drift, 0, existence variance, 0, decay factor, suppressed. 0. 0. 0. Suppressed. You were the closest thing the cosmos had ever documented to a constant, a being whose existence didn't erode, didn't slide, didn't unravel through time's current. A technician whispered, "This is impossible. No entity can maintain perfect temporal symmetry." Not even stars. Director Marin cut him off, her voice low and trembling. Exactly. Stars burn. Atoms decay. Even black holes evaporate. But he is holding a shape the universe itself cannot disrupt. The Chronal lens intensified its scan, probing the edges of your form. At the boundary, exactly where your skin met the air, scientists observed particles jittering wildly, then coming, then locking into perfect order. A perfect edge. A perfect boundary. No entropy could cross it. A murmur spread across the chamber. He's generating spatial integrity. He's anchoring probability states. He's rewriting the decay gradient around his body. Then, unexpectedly, the lens displayed something new, a thin, oscillating waveform emerging from your chest. It pulsed steadily, rhythmically, almost like a beacon. Director Marin's eyes widened. That signal, it isn't biological. The waveform sharpened on screen, revealing its structure, not random, not chaotic, but a repeating cosmic pattern known only to high-level astrophysicists. The helix of expansion, the mathematical curve that governs the universe's growth. Your heartbeat was synchronized to the expansion of reality. One cosmologist stepped backward until he hit the wall. No being can do that. Not accidentally. Another added, this isn't evolution. This is appointment. The chamber fell silent again, thick with realization. The AI, still processing, suddenly displayed a new block of text, not data, not analysis, but something closer to a verdict. Subject exists outside entropic futurity. Persistence not dependent on biological or cosmic conditions. Beneath it, a secondary classification appeared, one never before activated in the authority's history. Immortality type, not length, not survival, not regeneration, but continuity. And then, stamped across every connected device, every auxiliary screen, every backup system. Project Immortal, the timeline does not degrade him. The timeline obeys him. The observatory stabilizers kicked in with a low groan, metal beams tightening, magnetic locks engaging, yet no one had touched the controls. The building wasn't protecting itself from danger. It was bracing for redefinition. The Chronal lens continued scanning your fractal stable silhouette, but now the data began expanding outward, mapping not just your body, but your influence radius. A faint ring extended from your form, like ripples on still water. Not energy. Not radiation. But temporal authority spreading through space. At first, the ring measured a few centimeters. Then a meter. Then 3. Then 10. Within that radius, the laws of decay faltered, then knelt. An experiment began by accident when a researcher set a steaming mug of coffee too close to the hologram. The liquid should have cooled. Instead, it held its temperature. 4 minutes. Then tens of minutes. No heat loss, a physicist whispered. No entropy. None. Someone placed a metal tool inside the radius. It stopped rusting. Then reversed its oxidation. Flakes of rust crawled back into the tool's surface like time running backward. Director Marin approached slowly. Are we witnessing temporal immunity? The AI beeped sharply, an alert tone the staff had never heard before. A large block of data appeared. Local entropy gradient, neutralized temporal direction, bistable spacetime response, accommodating. Accommodating. Reality wasn't resisting you. It was making room. A quantum physicist tested another idea. She carefully slid a decaying isotope sample toward the projection. The Geiger counter clicked violently as it approached. Then, as it crossed the boundary of your anomaly, the counter went silent. Absolute silence. No radiation. No breakdown. The isotope stopped decaying entirely. This is impossible, she whispered. Decay is the backbone of time. Another scientist, voice trembling, answered, not anymore. The Chronal lens data fused into a new model, a multi-layered rendering of your existence. 3 concentric zones appeared. Zone 1, biological stability, your cells locked in perfect renewal cycles. Zone 2, entropic immunity, your surroundings refusing decay. Zone 3, temporal symmetry field, the universe synchronizing its expansion curve to your heartbeat. Director Marin's knees nearly buckled. He's not immortal because he defies physics. He's immortal because physics prefers him. Suddenly, all auxiliary monitors lit up. External telescopes, deep space satellites, even dormant cosmic sensors woke simultaneously, as if alerted by a silent alarm. One screen zoomed in on a distant pulsar. Its rotation, steady for millennia, shifted by 0.00001%. Just enough to match your resonance frequency. Another showed a distant quasar flickering in rhythmic pulses identical to your waveform. A third displayed gravitational waves bending into faint spiral shapes, shapes resembling the same fractal rotating around your silhouette. A hush fell over the room as the AI compiled the external data into a single, haunting declaration. Cosmic alignment detected. Multiple celestial objects synchronizing to subject. Local reality is not merely observing him. It is following him. One astrophysicist stepped back and whispered the truth everyone feared to acknowledge. He's not part of the universe's expansion pattern. He's becoming the reference point for it. Another added, this isn't a mutation. This is designation. The next line that appeared on the screen froze every soul in the observatory. Project Immortal, primary temporal anchor identified. And beneath it, glowing like a prophecy fulfilled. The universe has chosen its constant. The atmosphere thickened until breathing felt secondary, irrelevant, almost optional. It wasn't fear. It was recognition, the kind a lesser force feels when a greater one quietly enters the room. Electronics dimmed in respect. Air stilled. Every atom seemed to hold its position, awaiting your next unspoken command. The Chronal lens continued broadcasting your expanding resonance field, but now something new emerged, patterns. Not random distortions, but geometric signatures, spiraling through the projection like constellations learning a new language. Fractals. Helices. Golden ratio arcs. Sacred geometry unfolding spontaneously in the air. A mathematician whispered, these patterns, they're identical in every culture. Every mythology. Every ancient text. Even civilizations that never met drew this. Director Marin's voice cracked. They weren't predicting gods. They were predicting him. The anomaly pulse widened again. This time, the effect was measurable. The building's atomic clock, accurate to 1 second over 300 million years, gained a second. Then lost it. Then synchronized perfectly with your resonance and stopped drifting entirely. Chronal override, someone muttered. He's correcting time in our favor. The AI chimed with a tremor in its synthetic voice. Not fear, but compliance. As if even artificial intelligence had realized it was now a student, not an observer. The next set of readings stunned the room. Gravity fluctuation, plus 0.0003%, quantum tunneling rate, stabilized, vacuum energy variance, flattened, dark matter distribution, skewed toward the subject. Every fundamental force, every pillar of physics, was leaning toward you. Literally bending. Dark matter is clustering around him? That shouldn't be possible. It acts like it's protecting him. Or orbiting him. The hologram flickered as gravitational data reshaped it into a new model, not a human figure, but a lighthouse, sending invisible waves into spacetime. Your body wasn't emitting energy. It was setting rules. A sudden impact rattled the facility, a low-frequency boom from deep space. Telescopes autolocked onto the source, a collapsing star, thousands of light-years away, had altered its implosion trajectory by a microscopic degree. But microscopic wasn't the point. The point was why. Its collapse curve now matched your resonance. Is the star responding to him? A researcher whispered. Another followed with shaking hands. No. It's aligning with him. Director Marin stared at the readout, tears forming without her noticing. She managed only 4 words, he's the new constant. Then the AI generated a data visualization, a cosmic map with a faint web of lines connecting your resonance to distant systems, nebulae, pulsars, even interstellar voids. Not dominance, synchronization. The map pulsed once. Twice. A third time, each beat matching your timeline-stable heartbeat. A message appeared. Subject not bound to universe. Universe bound to subject. As the room absorbed this, a final overlay materialized, a label reserved for theoretical phenomena no one ever expected to see triggered. Temporal vector, origin point cosmic role, anchor of continuity designation, Project Immortal. And beneath it, the line that stole everyone's breath. The future will age. He will not. The cosmos has chosen its north.